Model S cracks 400, Solar gets a significant price drop, we've got two event delays, AP2 owners get a new trick when backing up, and I've got a tidbit of the week for you. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 603, recorded for June 22nd, 2020. This show is sponsored by my supporter Richard. If you're in the market for a new Tesla, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesperson to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 and pick up a 1,000 mile supercharging credit for your new vehicle. We start the week with some great news from last week. Tesla announced that a new Model S purchased today now has a rating of 402 miles on a single charge from the EPA, the first vehicle to boast that number. This continues Model S's trailblazing heritage, as it also was the first EV to boast more than 200 and 300 miles of range as well. The most impressive bit of this is how Tesla got here. This is still the same battery pack design from the 2019 Model S, but with some improvements made around the pack. From their announcement, Tesla says that they've reduced the weight of the vehicle, taking lessons from Model 3 and Model Y production. This is one of the few acknowledged improvements from Model 3 and Model Y production that has found its way into the flagship vehicles. The next piece of the puzzle are the default Tempest Aero wheels and tires. The Model S had an ugly Aero wheel when it was launched, and it was promptly dropped from the lineup because it didn't have an alibi. It was UGLY. The new ones are much better. While still not as good as the available upgraded alloy wheels, these are the best looking Aero wheels that I've seen on any EV. The next improvement, and probably the cornerstone of it, is the Raven powertrain. Another of the lessons drawn from Model 3 development, the Model S and X picked up an improved front motor directly from Model 3, as well as improving the existing rear motor's engineering by changing the lubrication method. The last bit was the improvement to the regenerative braking that allows regeneration to occur all the way to a stop in combination with the physical brakes, rather than ceasing at 5 miles per hour as it did previously. To me, the 400-mile barrier was the true moment where EVs finally equaled a gas vehicle in range. Barring long-range travel, and even there the supercharger network is the solution for Tesla, there's no excuse anymore for folks to be nervous about having an EV as their only vehicle. Now, I'll certainly caveat this with the fact that obviously this is on Model S that is not priced as a vehicle for everyone. However, it's a huge first step toward that average Joe car becoming a reality. Next up, Tesla also announced some news on the energy side. While solar glass has been getting the lion's share of the attention for the energy side, Tesla now has new pricing for standard panels, which they claim is a third less expensive than the industry average. The Tesla show also reports that the panels being used have an improved output, increased to 340 watts on a panel from 315. Tesla cites its move to fixed system sizes rather than custom installations for every customer, as well as the lack of having to deal with the accompanying study of utility bills. Tesla reports that 80% of customers use the site-recommended system, and this digital experience improves sales and marketing costs by a whopping 64%. So they say they pass the savings on to customers, just as we've seen on the vehicle side as well. With this, there's never been a better time to start the transition to a fully sustainable energy future. Next up from Elon's Twitter feed, sadly, not only has Battery Day been delayed again, but one of the best days of the year for Tesla news, the annual shareholders meeting, has also been delayed. Elon originally responded to @Kristen Netton on Twitter, asking if the Cybertruck would be at the shareholders meeting, but Elon responded saying that it would likely be postponed due to the inability to hold a large gathering in California. He later followed up with Tesla owner Silicon Valley asking about Battery Day, saying, quote, "Probably good to combine them, since they are converging in time. I'm hopeful we can announce a date after the July 4th week," end quote. Fortunately for us, while I was writing the show, we got an announcement from Elon. Quote, "Tentative date for Tesla shareholder meeting and Battery Day is September 15th. Will include tour of cell production system," end quote. Further down the thread, he noted that the event, which in recent years has been held at the Computer History Museum, would be held at Fremont, which makes sense given the tours of the cell production system. Item 4 tonight comes from @Ray4Tesla on Twitter. Ray was one of the first to point out that in the latest and greatest firmware update coming to AP2 equipped cars, the side cameras now also display in addition to the main rear camera when putting the car in reverse. A simple tap at the bottom of the screen on an upward-facing arrow will also display the cameras at any time if you're simply displaying the camera on screen without being in reverse. A great touch to help protect the rims on your vehicle from curb rash as you back into a spot with a curb. Lastly today, a tidbit of the week for you. While a few people noted this apparently has been a thing for a while, I wasn't aware of it and figured that I'm not likely the only one. If you can slip one by me, someone that eats, sleeps, and breathes Tesla, it's likely the average fan may not know either. This feature is one where you can delegate someone else access to your vehicle in the Tesla app. Teslarati published the tip, noting that if you head to the web and log into your account and manage your vehicle, there's an option called Car Access, where you can designate an email account for someone that can access your vehicle via the Tesla app. They simply create a Tesla account and sign in, just like you do, and your car appears. If they already have a Tesla, your car is simply added to the lineup of cars they can access. A great tip for couples out there that both may need access to the vehicle, or even as one person suggested that I saw, if you rent your vehicle out, you can give the renter access as well. Just remember to revoke that access later after the rental is complete. One more thing before I go today, just a note from my interview with David Hodge, the developer of the Nikola app, that the offer for the discount on the app will end on June 30th. This is an especially good deal now, as the price of the app has went up since the show published, but fans of the show can still get the original discounted price if they act before then. That will do it for today's show. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. And as always, a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortek LED Canada, Morvan Og, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, Sunil Joseph, and Joy Rodriguez. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next time, keep it charged and hit the road.